old am I? Why look like I got a pimple at the age of 44? Anyway, what's up, y'all? Yeah, going live, trying to get back into this content thing because it's very, very important that as entrepreneurs that we connect with our people as much as possible in as many ways as possible. It doesn't matter if it's zero, one, two, three, 3,000 people that show up. Let's go live, right? But anyway, I got a question for you because it came up. You may have seen my post yesterday, but it really got a lot of attention in one of the groups that I'm in, the Prince George County Education Roundtable. And so I wanted to bring it out here for discussion. And the question was, to keep it brief, is um, when your child graduated, if they graduated tomorrow, I don't care what age they are, right? Um, what skills do you think they would need to be able to survive in this world? And I asked that question because I don't think that's really thought of right now when it comes to young people. We kind of live by the hope creed that we hope that if they do the quote unquote right things, that they will be okay. And unfortunately, the right things have changed. We're not in a, we go by an education system that was formed over 100 years ago, right? And so those the priorities that were there 100 years ago are the ones that are prevalent today. But the world has moved in leaps and bounds over the last 10 years, let alone the last 100 years. And now that we're in this age of what's like we call the information age, the AI age, whatever we may want to call it, we kind of have to really, really, really pay attention and do things in a way that helps people. So the question you really have to ask is, could they communicate what they do? How will they solve problems? Do they have value in the marketplace? And not even do they have it, can they create it? Because this really is the age of the creatives from what I'm seeing. Not just, those who can, dance, sing, get out there and be content creators or whatever that may be, whatever, what have you. It's those who can create solutions, period. That's where it starts and where it stops. It's people who can see a problem and make it happen. So whether you're getting hired by a company, whether you are working with on your own as an entrepreneur, whether a 1099 contract, whatever, it's always about solving problems. And what I believe has been the mistake that has been made is not that we don't have young people that can solve problems, is we are waiting for somebody to tell them what the problems are. We're waiting for them to, somebody say, hey, these are the problems. I want you to fix it. When now we're in the time where number one, people learn how to do it on their own. People will Google, they'll YouTube, they'll AI to figure it out. Companies are asking people to come in and identify the problems and then fix it. But what we have is, we're a lot of us, in the generations before us, were raised simply to have somebody tell you what their problem is and then you fix it. When in actuality, if you really want the next generation to be able to survive, they have to also be able to identify those problems. They have to be able to move independently, make money independently. It's not just about what your transcript says. What were your grades? What did you do? What were your extracurriculars? Because like right now, honestly, sometimes it's the extracurriculars that can show more about what the young person can do. Now, were they, on a sports team, the debate club, or, did they play an instrument? Did they do anything that worked with people? Because literally now getting good grades isn't really the standard. It's good to get. I'm not saying don't get good grades. I'm not saying that at all. But that's the least of the priorities. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So that's kind of where the conversation is, where it's going. But just so you know, tonight, tomorrow night, I'm hosting a parent briefing. Again, because of what I've been doing over the past 4 years with raising founders, also being an entrepreneur, having to hire, fire, having a team of 10, all that good stuff. I want parents to really understand what the marketplace is asking for, what their young people to be ready for. Because the truth is, and a lot of y'all have said this already about yourselves, that you want to quote unquote fire your boss. You want to, wish you could be on your own. But what if your child could skip that? What if they could skip this piece of being dissatisfied with what life is handing them, be dissatisfied with their job, or wishing they could do others? Because if you start them now, they'll never have to go through what you went through. I know a lot of times I hear parents say, I'm not a parent, but I hear parents say they want it to be easier on their child. But what if the key isn't making their childhood easier, it's making their adulthood easier? And hear me when I say this. Look, I use ChatGPT so much it makes me sound like I'm talking like ChatGPT, but I'm not. But hear me when I'm saying this. Instead of trying to make the childhood easier, and of course, we want them to have fun, want them to be able to grow up. What if the childhood was used to make adulthood easier? Now hear me out, because you're only a child for 18 years. Most of that you don't remember. You romanticize it anyway, no matter what happened. I mean, look, kids will play with a box instead of the toy you actually buy them. So, it's not like they're hard to please at a young age. But think about where you are right now, how much it takes for you to actually be able to enjoy the life that you want and live the life. And I appreciate the likes, I appreciate the love, all that good stuff. And all that. And please, drop in the comments, share with your people, put it out there. But what I want you all to understand is, and this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow night on the Zoom. And I hope you get joined. If you want the link, please let me know, and I'll send it to you. But we're going to talk about the new standard of excellence. I would have Hampton. That's one of our phrases. But the new standard that is necessary to be a productive citizen. And unfortunately, schools aren't doing it the way that it could be done best. I'm not, it's not a shot at teachers, not a shot at, the school system, anything like that. But a lot of it's just so antiquated. It's the same things that I learned, and I've been out of school for over 20 years. It's the same thing my parents learned, and they've been out of school a lot longer than that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to start looking at the rearing of the young people in a different way. So please, I'm asking, I'm gonna drop it in the comments. Hopefully y'all can come. It's free. Going to be some good information I'm giving out, because I like giving out information. I like helping people and all that good stuff. But I really want people all of us, everybody. It's not even just about me, because again, I don't have any children. My goal is to help the next generation. I just want to plant the seed for the tree that I will, I'll never get to sleep under. But yeah, so check it out tomorrow. It's at 7 p.m. I'm not going to be on there for long, but I really want to present to you what I believe is going to help, because I've learned from a long time that there's so much in these kids that needs to be pulled out. Otherwise, it's gonna die in their childhood. And I may talk about this tomorrow. There's a period in life called the golden window, where if you allow a child to be immersed in an environment, and they will undoubtedly, it's almost guaranteed, they'll become good and proficient at it. And this because you see it all the time and don't pay attention to it. Because oftentimes what we see is somebody operating at the highest level, like a LeBron James, like a Beyonce, like all these folks who we see it in entertainment all the time. They did not start doing these things as adults. They used that time of their childhood, of their teenage years, to immerse themselves and make this thing their life. Why? So that they can live how they want later on. And I think the mistake is that we limit it to the school. We limit it to the arts. We limit it to sports. We limit it to things that don't necessarily, that aren't necessarily a for everybody, right? There's less than 1% of all entertainers make it to as big as Beyonce. Most of them, are quote unquote starving artists. We look at athletes. Most people who are really, I know a lot of people who are really good at sports, and they didn't go pro. They didn't get the $1 million contracts. But when you start a business, you have a skill that will take you for life, and you can act like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, And you can ask them how many times they were even able to pivot when they needed to pivot. You want your child to have that skill. So again, come tonight. I'm gonna drop the link in the comments so y'all can see it. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, metaphysical speculations, please, let me know. I enjoy doing this. I really love the young people. I really love to pour into them. I love to see the next generation grow and do the things that they want to do. Um, and I'm getting ready to drop this link in the comments. And again, if you're a parent, grandparent, educator, mentor, coach, youth leader, aunt, uncle, this conversation is for you because that's really what it is. It's really a conversation. So I'm gonna drop this down here, and hopefully I'll see y'all there later.